Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hobo here. And earlier, well, not earlier, but pretty much I had a couple of people asking me how viable my Thorn build is. And currently, with the gear I have at hand, it is able to do roughly Torment 3 with relative ease. For anything higher than that, it's going to take a lot more specific gear. No, most notably, I'm going to need the Invoker set, a very good DPS weapon. I'm trying to find a Shaper's Hammer, because that would help this build out a lot right now. Because the way I have it set up is pretty much my Thorn damage is the big heavy hitter with this build. Whenever I proc Reflect Skin, that's when I start throwing out upwards of 60 million to 90 million on elites. The only issue is the white mobs become an issue because I have such, well, shit for crowd control in all honesty. The only thing I can really rely on is charged up my Firewalkers and my secondary, which is currently Scorching Hammer, because the AoE that it leaves behind procs my cooldowns and accurate pretty quickly. The Shaper's Hammer would help alleviate this problem significantly, because if I get hit, I get charged up and I'll do AoE damage, which is really good against the white mobs. However, I haven't found a good version of one. I've found a shitty one. It proved to me when I used it that it was definitely worth my time to find a better one, but unfortunately, I have not found one yet. However, I did manage to pull a Faithful Memory with damn near fucking max stat rolls. It's exceptionally powerful, and it works very well with this build. It helps synergize very, very good. Plus, its bonus thorns brings me up to roughly 42,000. And after the math, it's roughly 1 million non-crit basic thorn damage. So pretty much, I'm going to do a Rift in Torment 3, for better or for worse, to see how it goes. And it'll pretty much just show you how I play with the build, how well it performs against elites, the lackluster performance against whites, because I'm very cautious. I don't want to pop my skills too early in case there is a very nasty elite around the corner. But enough of that out of the way. Let's show you guys a Rift. Like, out of all the builds I've ever done so far, this one is by far my favorite. It is a lot of fun to play. It is heavily gear dependent for what I set it up for, but in spite of that, I still very much enjoy it. So, for the white packs, it's going to be fairly slow. It's just going to be me with my main and my secondaries just chewing away health. And that's mostly because I want to save my heavy hitters charged up, well, Provoke charged up, and Iron Skin in case I run into any elite packs. So the white mobs are just going to take some time. If I had a Shaper's Hammer, it would go by significantly faster because the extra effect would help me just clear these guys out in no time at all. Unfortunately, it's all up to RNG if I actually find a good version of it. Here we go. Here's an elite pack. These guys, I usually pop everything and just let my cooldowns ride. And you can just see how quickly this build just liquefies elites. Because my Thorns, when they proc and crit, do upwards of 90 million to them. And that's only in that 4-second time frame. However, when I'm accurate, everything I do, my Firewalkers, my charged up, my Hammer's AoE, my Hammer's hit, all has a chance, ooh, gloves, to cool down my my cooldowns by 1 second. That's why you can sometimes see the dials just spin and spin and spin. However, now that I already used Accurate, I'm a little more cautious because until it cools down, I'm kind of like a hermit crab without a shell. I feel very anxious. So I usually take it a little bit slower to let my cooldowns ride out. For larger packs of mobs, I'll usually pop Provoke to get the extra charged up to do some damage and help me clear it out quicker. Then we got another elite pack, and I don't have any cooldowns for this, so I'm going to wait for charged up to finish, and then I'll jump in. Here we go. And I'm sitting on top of a sentry turret. As you can see, without my cooldowns, elites, and everything else, plan. take a little bit more time. That's why you need to pick your battles very carefully with this build. But it definitely brings a lot more fun because you're a lot more active with this build. God damn, a third one! Holy shit. Okay, game, I'll take it. So as you can see, when I have everything up, it just liquefies, even though I did have a power pylon for that, but that's beside the point. Let's collapse one of these guys. Alright, for the sake of comfort, I'm going to switch back to my defensive law. Faith armor. Oh my god, you're just going to troll me, aren't you? Like, with this build, the greatest threat I have as of right now is... Ooh, Mage Fist. Is the white mobs. Elite packs, I don't really need to care about no matter what prefixes outside of shielding, because that's pretty much what halts my DPS. Fire chains, I love them because they proc my thorns. Damage reflect is very... They're just gone. Lifelink is gone. Jailer and Arcane are a nuisance at best. As you can see, my cooldowns are going by very quickly. I'll just keep popping everything over and over again for the duration of Akaret. There we go. Like, on T3, this is the fastest I can do with the current build on Torment 3. Usually for speed runs and for fun, I'll play T2 because things are just so much simpler. But I wanted to show gameplay with a little bit more of an edge, a little bit more of a threat, so I went with T3. I can do 4, but it's just tooth and nail at that point, in all honesty. It's not really that fun. Yeah. I'm going to pull out for this one. The build's viable, but it all relies on luck of the cooldowns and timing. It still needs a lot more work, it still needs a lot more gear, but as it stands right now, it's still practical. Damn, there's a lot of fucking elites today. Yeah, that is a lot of arcane. Alright, let's get out of there. Don't need any arcane dust. I have way too many already. As you can just see, when everything synergizes perfectly, elites just liquefy. They are absolutely no threat to this build right now. Outside of a few situations where I'm relying on cooldowns or Frozen. Frozen's another one that can cause an issue. But usually I can burst them down quick enough that they won't have a chance. Ooh, damage reflect and electrified. Like, as you can see, like, elites are pretty much no problem with this build as it is currently. Minions and the white packs are the real issue is, and that's because I really need some good crowd control. A Shaper's Hammer would help me alleviate this problem significantly. I could also try looking for more cooldown-based equipment. But as it stands right now, my toughness is absolute garbage as it stands, because everything I have is from Paragon. Like, almost all my healing is Paragon-based. Almost all of my bonuses, like, all of it. Like, I gotta find a good balance between offensive and defensive at this point to do it fluidly and quickly and safely without sacrificing the DPS I have. Because pretty much when I was building the build, I just focused solely on thorn damage as much as possible. That's why I have such a large amount. However, as a result, I sacrificed a lot of healing and a lot of toughness as a result. But as I find more gear and I start tweaking stuff, I'll be able to make it more tough, have more finesse, be able to deal with the white mobs very quickly. It's all about just playing around with it, finding the right amount for each. Because right now, I feel a little too squishy, especially against the white mobs. And another issue with this build is if there's too much AoE spam, Plagued, Poison, Molten, they won't proc my Thorns, which becomes a major issue. If I'm standing in too much of it, there's a very high chance I'll be able to die. That's one reason why I like to have Accurate ready to go on a moment's notice, because there are some elite packs, even though I can burst down most of them, who can ruin this build, who can just give me a very bad fucking time. But roughly 80% of the elite packs, despite their combo, I'll be able to just burst down quickly. And we have a whole lot of nothing so far. Here we go, another elite pack. This one's got Frozen, Molten. Yeah. And I'm always tossing around my secondary. Some days I'll run it without a Wrath Spender, some days I'll keep a Wrath Spender, just to see what works and what doesn't work. One thing that is another issue with this build is the heavy hitting damage comes from Thorns. So if there's an enemy who attacks slowly or doesn't attack at all, it becomes an issue. Pigs, nests, it takes time to chew them down. Pigs beyond Torment 2 I really can't get, because I have to pop everything just to get them. Accurate for the attack speed and charged up for the bonus damage. I have to do, like, pull out all my trump cards for them. The build synergizes well with a lot of other classes, except those who use a lot of crowd control. Which is okay, because crowd control means survivability for everybody. It just means that I have less time and less DPS because the enemy's not focused on me. They're pretty much just being stun locked. So pretty much at that point, it's just me, my secondary, and my boots combined with charged up doing most of the damage. Another elite down. And a dead end. But I put about roughly 130 hours into this build from level 1 all the way up to 70, and I was making sure to take my time playing with it, to seeing what worked, what didn't work, how to perfect it, how to tweak it, what I needed for certain times growing the build. Toughness is always an issue, like I stated before. But luckily, since I have Accurate and the fact that if I hit 0 in it, it doesn't really matter. I used to run a Harai with, if I was below 20% health, I was guaranteed criticals, which came in pretty good use. However, I really didn't need the extra crit chance because my crit chance is roughly 42, 46. Which is more than enough, in all honesty, for this build. Like, I really didn't need to ride it that much. So I decided to go with Blackthorns, torso and pants for bonus elites, and both of them had resist all, which is something my build severely needed. There's a lot of stuff I need to hunt down, like, the last two pieces of Invoker are either the Vambraces or the Shoulders, and both of those I can't replace outside of getting another torso piece for the Demons combo. So if I ever pull the Shoulders, I'll have to make sure to replace the torso and then replace the pants, because at that point I won't have a 2-set Blackthorn. I'll have to make sure to roll a really good version of it too, to compensate for the loss of everything. But pretty much, that'll come when it comes. The shield I finally pulled from Kadala, it rolled exceptionally well, which flabbergasted me, because I was fully expecting it to be garbage, because the amount of time I spent trying to get it off of her. Spent about a week on and off, just rolling my blood shards on shields. It rolled exceptionally well, in all honesty. Like, there's nothing I can really change on this, outside of, like, thorn damage. But even then, I really don't need too too much more Thorn damage at this point. Because I'm leaving this shield open to change just in case I get another piece of the demons or another piece of the invoker. That way I can help balance out the negatives for something else if need be. But I've been debating about switching my diamond for my helmet to an amethyst for bonus health, because my HP goes down pretty quickly. I'm not too comfortable about that. But I do enjoy the very quick cooldowns when I'm bursting elites. So it's pretty much just preference at this point of what I need versus what I want. Like, I don't need... Because I'm usually going to stick to the lower torments for the sake of speed and fun. Like, once I get more and more better gear as I play along, I'll probably switch it up higher and finesse the build to do higher torments. But if I'm farming, I'll probably stick it to Torment 2, Torment 3, depending on how well I can do them. My end goal is to see how far a Thorn's build is viable, because I really enjoy it. And the one issue I really have is the Sanguinary Vambraces that I got. They've never once procced. I've never seen them proc, ever. I'm pretty positive that they are broken as is. I'm curious to see if and when Blizzard does anything to patch them. On top of that, I'm curious to see what Blizzard intends to do with Thorn damage and Iron Skin as a whole as time goes on. Because I really enjoy this build, I really do. It's a lot of fun. It just, the way I built it, it's just way too gear dependent. I can't use anything aside from Firewalkers. The bonus damage from Demon Skin is very useful. The Invoker set, once I get the 4-set bonus, is going to be really fucking powerful because my Thorns will be doing an area of effect rather than single target, which will probably help me burst down white mobs a lot quicker than needing a Schaefer's Hammer, in all honesty. But that's going to just all be up to RNG and whether or not the game decides to give me them. And it depends on what piece it gives me. If it gives me the Vambraces, then I'm going to have to make a decision between Sanguinary or the other combo set. In all honesty, I'll probably run the combo and then go back to Sanguinary if they ever patch them. Because as it stands, I've never noticed them proc once. But I might try to get all guilds into the build too for some bonus elite damage. I'm definitely going to need the farm for a Ring of Grandeur, a very well Ring of Grandeur. I have 4 of them, all of which are garbage, and they are. I can't give up my current rings because they're way too useful. One is the Stone of Jordan, which rolled physical, which benefits the Thorn procking. You're little assholes. And it rolled very high elite damage. And I gave it critical, I believe it was 48 or 47 I gave it. And that was only within 3 rolls, so RNG was very kind to me that day. Oh my god, you and your walls. Elites like this, who just waste my time, are another issue. Because they'll just wall me, they'll freeze me, then I'll have to slowly chew away their health. Luckily, these ones had health link, so it wasn't that bad. But as you've seen so far, 80% of the time I can just burst down the elites, no care. So long as they're aimed at me, so long as they're attacking me. If they have fast damage reflect, fire chains, or electricity, they'll usually die exceptionally quickly because of those prefixes. Slow attacking things, heavy spellcasters are going to be an issue. Large health pool bosses like the Rift Guardian is going to take me some time to kill with this build. Especially if it depends on who it is. Like, there are pros and cons to this build, for sure. But I still enjoy playing it. Those are some huge guys, and that's going to hurt. There we go. 97. Unfortunately, another thing I noticed is the Spiker Shield does not work with Reflect Skin. So it doesn't do any more crazy absurd numbers that I'm already doing past the 90 mil to elites. which is okay, but the bonus damage I'm doing outside when I just provoke stuff is very, very grateful. Because it's roughly 2 million, which will definitely help me kill white packs easier. With the Invoker set, it'll help me even to burst down white packs even quicker. Because pretty much, I have no problem with provoking white packs. Its cooldown is fairly quick. The bonus DPS it gives me is very grateful. What do we have? Okay, we have you. In times like this, I'll usually wait for my cooldowns to at least get halfway or at least full. It's just me face tanking for pretty much this portion of these kind of fights. Because if I can have everything ready to go, I can cycle my cooldowns exceptionally quickly. Alright, let's start popping things. Yeah, he's gonna hop around and waste my time. Yep. Come on. Focus on me. As you can see, the crowd control is slightly annoying for the build. But crowd control is still survivability. So you do your little hop thing. Alright, now you're in your little embrage segment, so I'll just wait for a cooldown and I'll just burst you again. There we go. 80 mil. Like, when a lot of the Rift Guardians, when they enter that 25% phase, a good portion of them have something that will be very advantageous to this build. For him, he gets exceptionally quickly with his melee. If I had everything ready to go, he would have been dead in an instant. Another one is, I believe, Raziel, who... Whichever one is the lightning one, I believe it's Raziel. Pretty much when he hits 25, he loves to spam electricity. He's also dead in a blink of an eye when he hits that phase. Let's finish off this white pack. Okay. Collect the loot and head back and ID everything. Got a couple good drops this run. Okay. Let's see what we got. Also, I hate the Gorget. Its abilities seemed very nice when I got it, but the fact that the skeletons always show up late to the party is a nuisance at best. And they're always gone 90% of the time before the next fight starts. Let's break all this stuff down. And what are you? A Diablo. There we go. Okay, let's take a look at you two real quick. Max crit hit chance. Mage Fist. Not bad. Roll defensive more than offensive, though. But I could probably use both of them for another class. So, pretty much, I'll go over real quick what my current gear is. I have 2 pieces of the Demon for the bonus 6,000 Fire Thorns. I each gave them bonus thorns themselves. I have 2 Black Thorns, which I'm willing to upgrade or change out. The only reason I'm using them is because they had resist all at fairly high. They also came with thorns, so that was one less thing I needed to roll. The Sanguinary. It's never procced. I've never seen it proc. I rolled physical on it. It came with crit hit chance, so it's useful. Here's my Stone of Jordan. Came with physical also. Rolled crit hit damage. Okay, apparently it was 41. This ring is exceptionally powerful. It took me from bursting 60 mil to elites to 90 mil. It was exceptionally well worth getting, even if it did have a shitty roll on the physical. The Gorget, or the Gorget, or however it's enunciated, rolled really good. All I did was just give it thorns. Invoker was a gift from a friend. They were playing a Witch Doctor at the time, so I had to roll off the intelligence for strength. I much rather had the ability to roll off that fear for thorns, because I can't stand fear as a melee class. Gauntlets had a decent roll, rolled crit on them. It stuck at the lowest crit end for roughly 3 million I spent before it actually gave me 45. The Faithful Memory, which, if I could just look at the stats, it rolled exceptionally well. It synergizes exceptionally well with the build I have. Firewalkers, I'm pretty sure I could find a better pair eventually. It's just pretty much essential to the way I play this build. And the ring I had ever since my Crusader hit 70. Have not been able to replace it yet. And the Spiker. So pretty much, yeah. That's the my Thorn build. And that's how it looks roughly in Torment 3. As you saw, it's capable against elites pretty much exceptionally well 80% of the time, depending upon what they are, what abilities they have. They like to wall and just run away like the skeletons did. But normally, it'll be able to just burst them down pretty quickly. White mobs are an issue. Survivability is an issue with the build. Still tweaking it, still finessing it. It'll just be up to loot and RNG. And just, yeah, playing around with it more, seeing what works and what doesn't work. So yeah, that's my Thorn build. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again in the next video, and take care, everybody. Hobo out.